welcome to this edition of Donna's Cassoulei. I'm Donna Kelly, your host. Today we will be doing a roasted bell pepper, artichoke heart, sun-dried tomato antipasto to get our guests started. And I'll be doing apple and raisin stuffed pork chops and a warm green bean and red potato salad.
Sounds wonderful.
Before my guests arrive, I like to make something for them so that when they come, they have something they can nibble on and to get their taste buds going for the day. Today I'm doing a roasted bell pepper, tri-colored bell pepper. I have red, orange, and yellow bell peppers. This is an antipasto salad. It has canned artichoke hearts, half a cup of sun-dried tomatoes sliced, clove or two of garlic chopped up, and it'll have fresh basil. But I wanted to show you how to roast bell peppers. It brings out the sugar in them and just makes them sweet and nice. You can either cut them in half and de-seed them and put them in a hot oven, 400 degrees, for about an hour until they blister, and then the skin comes off. But if you're lucky enough to have a gas grill, I wanted to show you how to do it on a gas grill. Take a nice red bell pepper, washed off, a little bit of olive oil in your hand, and you rub your bell peppers with the olive oil. Olive oil is really good for your hands too. Okay, we're gonna roast it on a grill here. That's cooking with fire. Over the flame. The holes are kind of big on my cooker grill here, so I've had to improvise a little bit, but the effect will be the same. You want to blister the skin on the pepper and keep turning it and watching it. But you want the skin to blister, and then you're going to put it in a paper bag and the skin will peel off very nicely.
Why does it go in a paper bag?
The moisture from the cooked bell pepper will separate it from the skin, from the flesh of the pepper. For the dressing for my antipasto salad, we're going to do about 5 tablespoons of olive oil and a couple of tablespoons of balsamic vinegar.
So for the people that don't know what a couple tablespoons are or whatever, is that?
Use a measuring device. I can tell by looking at it. And this one also calls for a couple of splashes of hot sauce. I have a cayenne garlic tangy sauce. We're going to whisk this together until you get a nice emulsion here. And see how it changes from olive oil to a dressing. We're going to add a little bit of salt and pepper. Salt and pepper goes in everything. We're going to check on our red bell pepper here that we seared on the grill. You can see how the skin's, it's alright if it's black on the outside because the skin should peel right off like it's doing real nice like for me here. You don't want to wash this because you'll lose the roasted flavor to it. Although it may be easier to peel it under running water, you will lose the flavor of it. You can see it just peels right off. The charring part comes off with it. And we'll cut it in half. You de-seed it too. You don't want the seeds in there. One for garnish. And we're just going to toss this all together with our dressing that we made. We'll toss the roasted bell peppers together with the sun-dried tomatoes, with the artichoke hearts, and the fresh garlic and basil. Oh, it smells delightful. And then you put this on either crusty bread or soft bread, or eat it just by itself. Mix it all together nicely. Make sure it looks pretty with a basil leaf garnish. Okay, we're going to pass it to our guests along with some beautiful fresh baked bread. Give that a whirl. Let me know how it tastes. And we'll start on our pork chops and potato salad.
Looks yummers. Here you go, my dear.
Thank you.
Now, did you have to steam the artichokes and do that whole?
No, it was canned artichokes, marinated artichokes. You just chop them up.
Less work.
A lot less work.
This is mine, so I get
A
more.
whole lot less work.
A lot less work.
Give them a try.
Is it a finger food? We have to eat it with
It's
a
however
fork?
you want to do it.
Can stay for
Eat it.
days. It's yummers. Well, you know what?
That's excellent.
I thought it would be yummy.
It's really
Nice way to start the evening. Now that I've given my guests the antipasto to get started on, get their taste buds going, we're going to get started on the pork chops. I like nice thick pork loin chops, and we're going to cut a nice little pocket in them. You don't want to cut the hole too big though, because the stuffing will fall out. So, one that I haven't cut here. You just want to insert your knife a little bit in the middle and run it along the inside and keep the hole that your knife is in very small. That way the stuffing won't fall out when it's done. But you want to make a nice pocket in there. As you can see by my finger, there's room for the stuffing in there. And I have one more that needs to be done. Just big enough for a finger to fit in so that you can stuff the stuffing inside. That way the stuffing won't fall out when you start to cook them. Now that we've got nice little pockets cut in all the pork chops, we're going to brown them on each side for a little bit. The stuffing has raisins that I plumped up in warm water for about 10 minutes, and then you drain it off. It just helps rehydrate them a little bit. It'll have chopped parsley, sage, and thyme. Fresh chopped parsley and dried sage and dried thyme, sauteed onions, and fresh breadcrumbs, and apples. While the pork chops are browning, we can do the apples. I'll move this over here for you. You can get one of these little things at any kitchen store. It's rather convenient. Just push down, and pop out the slices. Leaves the core and the seeds in the middle for you. But you gotta get it underneath of you. And we're gonna cut them into nice little chunks that'll fit in our stuffing pocket here. I've doubled the recipe here. It's usually about 4 pork chops and 1 apple. Since I'm doubling it, we're using 2 apples and about half a cup of raisins, about a tablespoon of dried thyme, tablespoon of dried sage, a couple of tablespoons of fresh chopped parsley, 2 1/2, 3 cups of breadcrumbs, and about an onion and a half chopped up nice and small. And we'll saute that before we put it into the stuffing. You want to use a nice crisp tart apple. They hold up better under cooking than the softer versions. Pork chops are talking to me. You don't want to cook these all the way through. You just want to get them a little bit browned on the outside. Yeah, nice brown color. This is called searing them, so that when they cook in their juices, that the meat will stay tender. And the reason why there's so many in this pan is because this way, when you put them back in there with the stuffing in it and they all cook together, the stuffing will stay inside the pork chop. You want to cut your apples like right before you get ready to do this so that they don't turn brown on you. They oxidize quick with the air. Nice pile of chopped up apples there. We're going to take the pork chops out and put them on a platter and let them cool for a minute so that I can handle them while I'm stuffing them. And then we're going to saute the onion in the juices from the pork. See how it has a nice golden brown color? On each side it's seared so that the juices will stay inside of it. Nice golden brown color.
Did you put any oil or anything inside?
I didn't, just to brown the chops, but these are pork tenderloin chops so that they're not as fatty as regular pork chops. So I'm getting them a little bit brown, but to saute the onion in them, I'm going to just a little touch of olive oil to it, which you'd want the sweeter flavor to come. And you can see from the pan drippings that were left in the pan how nice and how it gives the onions nice color, and it will also give the onions, impart the flavor into it too.
Where did you come up with this recipe?
I love stuffed anything. Stuffed fish, stuffed pork chops, stuffed chicken, and pork and fruit just go nicely together. I do a pork loin too with mangoes and raisins and dried fruits. That's real nice. Pork and sweetness go hand in hand.
Did you want to add garlic or any other spices in as well?
Donna, do you add wine to this pork dish?
Not this particular one. I just use apple juice, or you can use an apple cider too. It's more fruity and juicy than, doesn't necessarily need wine in this one.
Okay.
While I'm gonna make the stuffing, I'm gonna get the potatoes on to boil for this, for the potato salad that I'm gonna make. And we'll make the stuffing. We'll add a little salt to the water. I have about 3 pounds of 3 pounds of red potatoes, sliced all about the same thickness so that they cook evenly. Actually, you don't want potatoes to boil, you want them just to par cook, so that if you boil them like you would pasta, they would fall apart. So you just want them to have a slow rolling boil going. We have our sauteed onions here, and we're going to make our stuffing for our pork chops. We're going to add our plumped up raisins that we soaked in warm water for 10 minutes and then drained. We're going to add 2 tablespoons of fresh chopped parsley, a tablespoon of dried thyme, and a tablespoon of dried sage. We're going to add some fresh cracked black pepper, some salt, our apple chunks, our sauteed onions.
Is that the stuffing you're going to put in the pork chops?
Yep. Yes, it is. Rather savory and sweet.
So the searing was just to brown the outside, and then the baking is to cook the inside with the stuffing?
Mm-hmm. To sear the outside to keep the juices in so that they'll be tender.
Is there a certain type of bread that is used? Is there a...
I like crusty French breads for stuffing. They don't have to be toasted, or day old would be good, but they don't have to be put in the oven, or I just like the texture of French bread or sourdough, like a roll or the long loaf. Okay, now that that's all nice and mixed, we're going to stuff our pork chops here. And see, you have your little pocket. You just stuff it in there. Try and get apples and raisins and bread in each one. It's a mess, and because, like I said earlier, when you cut the pork chop and you leave only the whole small, it makes it so that the stuffing doesn't fall out. If you slice it down one side, the stuffing has a tendency to fall out. And we're going to fit them right back in the same frying pan. Alrighty, we have all our pork chops stuffed here. They look beautiful. We're going to put them back on the grill and add a cup of apple juice and let them cook for half an hour with a lid on. And then we'll check on them. I'm going to put my steamer basket of string beans on top. Clean them up, cut them up. Steam. My little handy wicker basket here, put them right on top. Put a top on that. So you just want to cook them a little bit. Oh, renegade. We're going to put our pork chops back on over here. On a nice medium heat, we're going to put them on. Add our cup of apple juice. And we're going to put a lid on it. We're going to do the dressing for the warm green bean and potato salad here. Take a nice red bell pepper and we're going to chop it up. Make sure you remove the white part of the bell pepper. That is kind of bitter and it doesn't taste very nice when you just want to use the red part to it. It calls for a bell pepper and half of a purple onion sliced. Just so happens I have half a purple onion right here, ready to go. Purple onions are fabulous. They're mellower in flavor than regular onions, and the color just makes things colorful when you cook with it. Ching ching. And I'm just going to cut these in half like that so they're bite-sized pieces for the salad. This salad is great to take on picnics because it's a warm potato salad. Doesn't have to be kept refrigerated. It doesn't have mayonnaise in it. It needs to marinate for an hour, so you can make this like before you go, and then it's perfect to take along with you. It doesn't have to be refrigerated. For the dressing, you need a couple of tablespoons of fresh chopped parsley, fresh chopped oregano, and fresh chopped basil. You can use dried spices. I have fresh spices available to me, so I use them instead. Fresh herbs. I'm going to put that in our bowl. Couple of basil leaves. If you roll your oregano or basil leaves over together, makes it easier to chop. Some people like fine chop. I like chunky style. 3/4 cup of olive oil. Okay, we'll just wing it. Half a cup of white wine. I like to use Chardonnays when I cook. A couple of tablespoons of white wine vinegar. The more vinegar you add, the more twang it's going to have. Fresh ground salt and pepper. Salt. Potatoes always need salt.
Coming from the Irish girl that you are.
And I didn't have fresh thyme, so we're using dried thyme. Just right here. We're going to whisk these together. And this will be the dressing, the vinaigrette dressing that we use for the potato salad. You know what, I'm going to add just a little bit more olive oil. Looks like it needs a little bit more.
How's your pork chops doing?
They're simmering. They smell yummy. I don't know if you can smell them over there, but I can smell them right here.
That bamboo steamer basket, that doesn't collect the moisture when it's steaming. Does that really cook well? Does it last a while when you're using it like that?
Yep, I've had that one. I can't even remember. I got it at a garage sale a few years back. You can get them downtown in the Asian markets here in Honolulu. They come in all different sizes. They come stackable. You can get 2 or 3. I like that one because it fits over top of my big pot nicely. Okay, our potatoes are cooked till they're fork tender. I'm going to add them to the half a purple onion, chopped red bell pepper. We're going to add our slightly steamed green beans. And we're going to add our dressing to it. Actually, I want to taste this even. That's pepper. Splash more vinegar. And to add more salt. There is that wine in this one. And we're going to dump it over our potatoes. And we're going to gently toss our potato salad. Look how colorful that is with the red potatoes and the red bell peppers, purple onions, all the fresh green herbs. It's best to let this potato salad sit for about an hour, so it's perfect, because by the time our pork chops are done, this should be nice and well marinated.
That's an Ono looking potato salad.
Sprinkle of salt around the top for good measure. A little bit more cracked black pepper.
Now, are you going to put that in the fridge to marinate it?
Nope, it needs to stay room temperature so that the potatoes absorb the flavor of the fresh herbs and the vinegars and olive oil. It can be served warm or room temperature. About an hour, it should be about room temperature. Our pork chops here have been cooking for an hour. I'm going to take them out of the pan and put them on the plate. And we're going to finish off the sauce for them, which will, I'm going to add some more apple juice to the pan. Like I said, you can bake these or cook them on top of the stove like I've done.
But you have to cover them.
Yep, you need to cover them for the first half hour and then let them simmer. You can 15-20 minutes without the cover on them. I'm going to turn up the heat a little bit here. We're going to add another cup of apple juice. And we're going to add 4 tablespoons of jelly.
Does it matter what kind of jelly?
Something not grape would be good. This is a treat that my friend of mine had given me from Oregon, Marionberry jam. And it'll be just delightful with it. You put in about 4 tablespoons. And we're going to make a nice glaze here with the stock from the pan that the pork chops were cooking in, and the apple juice and the Marionberry jelly. We're just cooking off the apple juice and cooking in the Marionberry jelly. You can use currant jelly or huckleberry or keep stirring it so it doesn't stick. There was sugar in the jam, so it will get it'll coagulate and get sticky. You don't want the sugar to burn, but you want it to get to a nice syrupy consistency so it sticks to the pork chops. There's bits of apples and raisins in there from the pork chop stuffing that fell out. That's all right. You want it to reduce down by about half. So you put in a cup of apple juice. You want it to be about a half a cup. By the time it gets to about half a cup, it should be a nice syrupy consistency to pour over the pork chops. Pork chops love sweet stuff. Sugar complements them. Sweet fruit, sweet dressings.
How about butter?
Go great, huh?
Butter? How about butter?
Yeah, because the butter would finish it off, round out the sauce nice. That's the thing about cooking is what you have, a recipe is a guideline, but what you have is work with it. Butter instead of olive oil. Marionberry jelly instead of currant jelly. I didn't have currant jelly, I used Marionberry. Should be about ready. You can see the nice brown color of it. There you go. Apple and raisin stuffed pork chops with a Marionberry apple juice glaze. We're gonna plate it up for our friends here. See what they think. Our masterpiece. Put some of our warmed potato salad that's been marinating for about an hour. It has red bell peppers and string beans and red potatoes and purple onions. A nice pork chop. Can't forget some of this lovely sauce on there. A little parsley for garnish. Apples and raisin stuffed pork chops with a warmed string bean red potato salad. Gonna pass it to our guests here and see what they think of what we made for dinner today. As usual, the best part about preparing fabulous food like this is sharing it with my friends that come and enjoy.
And we love it that you can cook this way.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bon appetit.
Cheers.
Nice and tender. Look at that. Oh, how's that? Can I give a big old whack? Dip it in the sauce. Yummers. In a big way. So good.
That's how I like to cook, is to be able to taste the flavor of the ingredients that I put in it. You should be able to, it shouldn't be masked in heavy sauces and stuff. It should be, things should complement each other and you should be able to taste the string bean. Okay. Ooh, it is perfectly cooked.
Oh, this is very crisp. This is perfect for this.
Are they nicer than the reed?
They're not.
Aloha! Thanks for joining us on this episode of Donna's Cassoulei. Until next time, Tuesday night, 9 o'clock on Channel 52, I would like to say God bless America. Thanks for watching.